History feels permanent. Dates are written down, timelines are agreed upon, and eventually those timelines become facts. But history is not fixed, it is shaped by what survives, and by what is accepted. This is not a story of myth or legend. It is the story of a discovery that quietly challenged everything we thought we understood. And it began in a place no one believed mattered. The site was never expected to contain anything significant. The excavation was meant to be routine. A standard survey, conducted more for documentation than discovery. There were no legends tied to this land, no ancient cities recorded here. Just soil, stone, and time, until tools struck something solid. Not broken rock, not debris, but a surface that was smooth, deliberate, and clearly shaped. The stone didn't match any known geological formation in the region. At first, the structure seemed ordinary, then it was measured. Edges aligned with near-perfect accuracy. Angles far more precise than expected from handcrafted stone. The measurements were repeated, checked again. Each result confirmed the same conclusion. This was intentional design. The precision increased as more of the structure was uncovered. As excavation continued, markings appeared. They were not decorative, not religious, they were systematic, evenly spaced, repeated with purpose. Experts compared them against known ancient scripts. Nothing matched. The spacing followed mathematical ratios, not artistic balance. According to accepted history, the people associated with this region lacked advanced tools. No metalworking. No complex construction methods, no formal writing systems. Yet the artifact contradicted all of it. Carbon dating confirmed its age. Earlier than expected. There was no evidence of later modification. As the excavation progressed, the atmosphere began to change. What started as curiosity slowly turned into hesitation. Not because the discovery lacked importance, but because it carried too much of it. Every new measurement raised more questions than answers. Every comparison widened the gap between what was found and what history said should exist. This was no longer just an archaeological find. It was a challenge to a framework that had stood for decades. And frameworks, once established, do not bend easily. Researchers became careful with their words. Reports were written more cautiously. Language shifted from excitement to restraint. An external review team arrived far sooner than protocol usually requires. Soon after, procedures changed. Access to the site was restricted. Only authorized personnel were allowed to continue work. Independent researchers were politely declined. Requests for collaboration were delayed, then denied. Public statements described the discovery as preliminary, inconclusive, still under evaluation, yet internally discussions were intensifying. This was not about verification alone, it was about implications. Several early research notes quietly vanished from shared records. With access limited, analysis turned outward. Researchers began comparing the artifact's design to other ancient structures across the world. Stonework separated by oceans. Civilizations separated by thousands of years. Different cultures. Different belief systems. Yet the same underlying principles appeared again and again. Precision where none was expected. Standardization where variation should have existed. This wasn't shared art. It was shared logic. The similarities followed engineering rules, not cultural influence. For decades, similar structures had been discovered elsewhere. Perfectly cut stone blocks. Monuments aligned with astronomical accuracy. Construction techniques unexplained by the tools attributed to their builders. Individually, each was labeled an anomaly, a mystery, an exception. But viewed together, they formed something else entirely, a pattern. One that repeated too often to dismiss as coincidence. The same mathematical ratios appeared across continents. The artifact itself was never the true problem. The problem was what it suggested, that human progress is not linear. That knowledge does not simply advance and accumulate, it can rise. Be refined, then disappear. Lost through collapse, catastrophe, or deliberate isolation. If that were true, then modern civilization might not be humanity's first peak, only the latest. Some knowledge may have been intentionally preserved, not forgotten. Gradually, momentum slowed. Funding priorities shifted. Research teams were reassigned. The discovery was never publicly rejected. That would have required explanation. Instead, it was quietly paused. The artifact was secured, cataloged, and removed from discussion. Access to the artifact itself became increasingly limited. Nothing about the artifact was dangerous. It posed no threat to safety, no risk to society. What it threatened was certainty, because accepting it would mean questioning assumptions that form the backbone of historical consensus. And once assumptions are questioned, entire timelines begin to unravel. Similar artifacts may already exist, quietly stored and unexamined. Perhaps ancient civilizations were not primitive. Perhaps they were precise, systematic, capable of complex reasoning. Not advanced in the modern sense, but advanced in ways suited to their time. Knowledge does not always look like machines. Sometimes it looks like understanding. Civilizations may rise, collapse, and begin again. If one discovery can challenge so much, how many others remain buried beneath our feet? How many were quietly set aside? Not because they were false, but because they complicated the story? History may feel complete, but it may only be paused. The past may still be unfinished. History is shaped not only by what we uncover, but by what we are willing to question. If you enjoy exploring the mysteries of the ancient world, consider subscribing and staying curious. Because the past still has stories left to tell.